especially game one?
Well, Thoughtseize into Pack Rat is pretty much unbeatable. In the post-board games, players get access to more answers and more discard, which prevents some of those openings. But unchecked unroll connections is really important. Pack Rat can easily run away with the game, and then Thoughtseize to either set yours up or prevent your opponent from doing the same. Those are the critical pieces. Zach has an additional copy of Duress in his main deck to facilitate, both of these game plans, and also a single Ratchet Bomb in his main deck that allows him to catch up in the event that a player is able to, run away potentially with Pack Rat or Underworld connections.
And we've seen both players keep Justin on the draw, Zach on the play. Zach's going to go ahead and Thoughtseize, and he is glad he did. There we see 2 lands and 2 Pack Rats in Bransfield's hand. Certainly a good recipe for the mirror. However, so Jesse's going to take 1 of the 2 Pack Rats. That leaves Justin with 2 lands, Night Veil Spectre, Pack Rat, Underworld connections. And can Jesse hit the other rat before it's on the board? That will be... We will see.
Well, Justin also doesn't have his 3rd land as of right now, too.
Right. And one of the advantages Zach gets from being on the play is one that you just see in his draw there, is that he actually can Hero's Downfall a Pack Rat because he'll have that 3rd land in time. You see Temple of Silence is the 2nd play for Jesse, and he's going to go ahead and scry to the bottom. And top deck there from Bransfield is going to be a Thoughtseize. He's going to try to protect his own Pack Rat. And what does he see on Zach's board? But Mutavault, Pack Rat, Underworld Connections, Night Veil Spectre, and Hero's Downfall.
Yeah. Both these decks are very good at attacking one another and disrupting them. So it's hard to just run away with the game with something like Pack Rat. It requires a really good opening.
So do you take then Zach's Pack Rat, or do you take his Hero's Downfall?
Well, he might have to just take the Underworld connections. Because
Okay.
if Zach gets an uncontested connections, it might not matter if Justin plays a Pack Rat the following turn.
Yeah, he's going to do just that. He takes connections. And as we said before, no 3rd land for Bransfield. So that will give Jesse an edge here. And we see 3rd land into play. And it's either going to be Pack Rat or Night Veil Spectre. Looks like Night Veil Spectre for Zach Jesse.
Land off the top for Justin is very good as it allows him to cast both Heroes Downfall and the Underworld connections in his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't. He also has his own Night Veil Spectre, but one of his 3 lands is a Mutavault, so the Spectre not turned on just yet. He has to really decide which way he wants to go with this. Does he want to try to trade attrition removal spells with Zach, or does he want to try to get his own card advantage engine going? Granted, if he doesn't kill the Spectre, then Zach would have a card advantage engine, so he's going to go ahead and downfall the Spectre. Looks like Justin's going to try to just trade off cards and then play a connections.
Yeah, not a bad game plan.
All right, and land 4 from Zach is a Mutavault. And then here comes public enemy number 1. It's going to be Pack Rat.
And you can see Zach is just consulting his notes here at every turn here to make sure that there's nothing he forgot.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to play Pack Rat into a known removal spell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Bransfield going to cast Underworld Connections. Once again, he puts connections down on a Mutavault as opposed to a Swamp. But that is his 2nd Mutavault.
He also has Night Veil Spectre in hand, so black mana again taxed. And
The game has begun.
Zach now comfortably on the front foot here. The 2nd Rat's in play. No removal spells in hand for Justin. And Justin is now up against it.
Yeah, Zach's going to, now on 5 mana, is going to pay 3, discard a Hero's Downfall to make a Pack Rat, activate Mutavault, turning it into a rat, and that's an attack for 5. Justin is down to 12. And it never really ceases to amaze me just how fast the Pack Rat army gets online. Mm-hmm. What is it? As early as next turn, I almost want to... not next turn. We're 2 turns from threatening lethal already. Yeah, next turn would only be for 10. All right, and a Pack Rat of Justin's own is made.
So once both players have Pack Rat, the things that matter are obviously who has more rats first, amount of mana in play, and Mutavaults. Those are the things to be looking for.
So the fact that Jesse made the first Pack Rat, which is pretty important, but Justin is up a Mutavault. Still, though, you'd think that Jesse's the one ahead in the situation.
Yeah. The best answer to an opposing Pack Rat is getting the ball rolling on your first Pack Rat. It makes blocking very challenging for your opponent.
All right, so we are back on Zach's turn. 5 lands in play, 1 is a Mutavault. You see he has 2 rats, 2 cards.
The cheap removal is also important. Devour Flesh, if you're playing copies of Ultimate Price, things that allow you to break serve.
Right, just trade a pack rat with something that's not a pack rat.
Yeah.
All right, and Zach's going to go ahead and animate that Mutavault again and start an attack. He has Pack Rat, Mutavault, Pack Rat attacking. The rats are currently 3/3s. The Mutavault's a 2/2. He does have the mana to make another rat. So if there are no blocks, Zach could deal up to 10 damage if he wanted.
Now Justin's trying to figure out how to block. Remember, he does have the option of, say, animating just 2 Mutavaults here, turning his rat into a 3/3. He can try to put the Mutavault in front of something. But there's a lot of tricks he's opening himself up to.
Well, doesn't he break serve there? If he makes his rat a 3/3 and eats Zach's Mutavault, can he? I think he's going to animate Mutavault. He's going to do, I think, just that: animate Mutavault, and.
But if there's a removal spell for the Mutavault that has the connections on it, then it's.
I think that is exactly it. Zach's going to go ahead and downfall the Mutavault with the connections on it. And one question I have is whether or not he waited for the block to happen. Yeah, he did. So his Mutavault still trades away with Justin's pack rat, but Justin's actually now out of rats.
Yeah. And Justin still needs to find 2 removal spells next turn to get out from under this.
He had drew another land, his hand 3 lands, and Night Veil Spectre. That will likely not be enough. We see Night Veil Spectre cast there. And Justin is into damage control. And we see a Mutavault drawn from Zach. That means that a double chump block is going to have to happen from Justin. These rats both threatening to get to, or at least a single one. They both can get up to 4/4. So he's going to double block one of the rats. That'll be able to trade a creature for a rat.
Just ordering blocks right now.
Yep, it's going to go ahead and activate Mutavault. Discard a card to make a pack rat. And the original pack rat's gone, but 2 of his friends remain. Justin now down to 1 life point. And with 3 lands, that means that game 1 will go to Zach Jesse. So, up 1 game on Justin Bransfield. Being on the play, pretty important there. Being on the 7-card hand, pretty important.
So we're going to be going over the sideboards momentarily, but first we have a trivia question. This is for 1 full year of Star City Games Premium. And since it's for a full year, we're in the finals and all that kind of stuff. We want to make you work for it just a little bit.
All right.
We've been talking a lot about the 2014 Star City Games organized play rollout, the Players' Championship at the end of the year. And leading up to this is currently Season 1, which we're in right now. All the seasons are bookended by invitationals. The first invitational is being held in March 28th through 30th. That's
Correct.
the end of Season 1. In what city is that invitational being held? So, again, tweet your answer at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium, and 1 correct respondent will be selected for a full year. Like I said, this one's not, it's not easy. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't have this information readily available to you, but it's for a full year, so put in a little effort.
Yeah, the Invitational is always great events at the end of each season. We have 4 of them throughout the course of the year. All players in the top 8 of an SCG Open are qualified. Even if you can't make it out to an Open, though, you can find an IQ near you to qualify for the event.
Yeah, through the Open Series, through IQs, you can qualify for this event as well. Possibly springboard yourself to the Players' Championship at the end of the year. So let's take a look at the sideboards here. We have, the plans in the mirror match are pretty straightforward. You want additional card drawing, additional disruption, additional removal. That's kind of the formula.
Yeah, I remember we had on camera earlier this tournament, we had a mono black mirror where post board, both players, I believe, were down to 0 cards in hand by the end of turn 4. Both of them just actually thought seized and duressed each other until they were out. That's not an uncommon scenario in the mirror here.
Yeah.
It's you board in cheap cards, you board in a lot of disruption. There's a lot of 1-for-1ing that happens.
So if you look at Justin's sideboard, he's on your left. 3 copies of Dark Betrayal, 4 Duress, 2 Erebos, 2 Doomblade, Frigate Cure, and Lifebane Zombie. I think the first 3 cards you hear there, Dark Betrayal, Duress, and Erebos, all coming in.
Yeah, Dark Betrayal, obviously great against a black deck. And Duress and Erebos, really good. It's interesting how Duress functions in the matchup. A lot of times you Duress their thought seizes. It's really just a game of the first couple turns are all about this jockeying of, can I actually resolve a pack rat? You're trying to thought seize in each other's pack rats or dark betrayal each other's pack rats, and then you're trying to address each other's thought seizes and dark betrayals. So both players are hoping that it lines up favorably. A lot of times it doesn't. It's this mutually assured destruction, and both pack rats end up dead, they end up thought seized, and that's when you get into Underworld Connections games.
Yeah, it's very curious, you know. Of course, you want all the discard to be proactive with your own game plan and to protect you from what your opponent's up to as well. But like you said, often both players are destroying all of their creatures and attacking each other's hands. The discard spells are among the weaker mid-game draws when it becomes about finding big threats or finding Underworld Connections.
Yeah, like so I remember the game where we saw where both players' hands were at 0 by turn 4. What ended up happening is then the game slowed down. Eventually one player hit an Underworld Connections, and it was able to activate it enough times uncontested and able to go to take the game with it.
Yeah.
There is this second phase, though. If you are the first player in Underworld Connections, you do have to watch out for your own life total. Games can be stolen, and so there's like the pack rat phase of the mono black mirror, and that's maybe turns 1 through 5. And if you make it out of turns 1 through 5, then you're in the Connections Gray Merchant phase.
Right.
And even if you're losing the Connections battle, sometimes if you're winning the Gray Merchant war enough, you can steal a game out from under an Underworld Connections player.
Another curious angle to all of this is, you're used to recouping the life for things like Underworld Connections and Thoughtseize through Gray Merchant, but Erebos is another additional dynamic to the mirror match where sometimes that window gets closed.
Yeah, Erebos is maybe not as good as Underworld Connections, but he's pretty close. He draws you extra cards.
Match is live.
And on top of, he draws extra cards, and on top of that, the no life gain ability is really important at shutting down Underworld Connections player. And we are underway with game 2 here. This is Bransfield on the play. He started off with a tapped Temple, and Zach actually will have the first play. This is where we see the hand disruption going back and forth. He's going to thought seize. Justin kept a hand with 4 lands, Devour Flesh, Pack Rat, and Underworld Connections.
So this is a pretty straightforward one. If Zach can kill this Pack Rat, he's going to take Connections, and if not, he's going to be taking the Pack Rat.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised actually to see all the Devour Fleshes still in right now. That card's typically, I think, boarded out in the mirror. But yeah, he's going to take the Underworld Connections, but you can tell this game 2 is all about disruption. Off the top, Justin hits a Thought Seize, and now we'll get to see Zach's hand. And Zach's hand was all disruption. We see he kept 4 lands, Ratchet Bomb, Dark Betrayal on his side.
Yeah. Ratchet Bomb gives him some ability to get out from under a Pack Rat that's running away with the game or an Underworld Connections. Remember, Pack Rat actually makes a copy of Pack Rat, so unlike most tokens, it has a mana cost.
Right. To blow up Pack Rats, you have to set the Ratchet Bomb on 2, but once you do, it will blow up a Pack Rat and all his fellow Pack Rats.
And now, oddly, Zach's hand's actually pretty good against discard spells, as he doesn't have a lot of spells to take anymore.
Yeah, I feel like so if you describe the game in phases, the Pack Rat phase didn't last very long at all. We're moving already to the Underworld Connections Gray Merchant level of the game. I don't think either player is going to run away with this on a turn 2 Pack Rat. And Zach does play out his Ratchet Bomb, wants to get that under any removal. He wants to make sure that an army of Pack Rats does not get him. Obviously, in a mono black mirror, an artifact is pretty safe once it's on the table.
Yeah, he's got a lot of flexibility with it too. He can set the Ratchet Bomb to 2, kill Pack Rat if he needs to, and if he ever is behind on Underworld Connections, move it up to 3 and blow up the Connections.
Yeah, what I like about Ratchet Bomb is when it actually blows up, it costs 0. Sometimes if you have a removal spell for Pack Rat, you can leverage the instant speed of additional Pack Rats to make it really awkward for your opponent. Threaten end step make 2, untap make 2. Ratchet Bomb plays around that really nicely. And we see from Justin, he's going to start chipping away with the Pack Rat. Otherwise, both players just playing lands at the moment. Right, and Zach draws a Devour Flesh of his own. It seems like I may have spoken a little too soon when I said that Devour Fleshes are boarded out. Both players here seem to like it.
It might just be a concession to Pack Rat.
Yeah, certainly at this point in the game, the Devour Flesh could be better. Mm-hmm. As, it doesn't answer Underworld Connections. It probably doesn't answer Erebos, and those are really the cards that are going to break open this game.
Yeah. You see sort of a weird staring contest where Zach doesn't feel any need to use his Ratchet Bomb just yet. And with the Ratchet Bomb in play, Justin can't really make any additional rats. So
Yeah, well, what the bomb does is it also answers any rats that Justin may have since drawn, and that's a pretty good security for Zach. And he's willing to take 1 damage a turn to, I think, to invalidate any possible top-decked rats. The question is for how long he'll do it. If he lets Justin hit him for 1 repeatedly, then eventually that becomes significant because of cards like Underworld Connections and Erebos. All right, so back to our match. Both players have developed lands up to 5. At one point, Zach tried for a Night Veil Spectre. That was quickly met with Dark Betrayal. Other than that, the land drops just continue to be traded. We see in Justin's hand a Devour Flesh, another Swamp, and a Night Veil Spectre. Zach's hand also does contain a Devour Flesh in it. Neither player has been able to find a way to draw additional cards yet.
And you got to feel the way the pacing of this game is going. The first player to find an Erebos or Connections is going to have a pretty substantial lead.
Yeah, well, both players' life totals are high enough that I think you hit it right on the head. Sometimes if one player's life total can get very low, then Underworld Connections is no longer good for them. They would need a Connections into a Gray Merchant. But you're right, at 16 and 18, it's all about who can draw more cards.
So Justin just says go, not willing to attack into that Mutavault, not willing to make another rat.
And Zach will play land number 6, and now off the top he has drawn another possible source of card advantage. It's going to be Night Veil Spectre. That should be able to get the Devour Flesh out of Justin's hand.
Wouldn't surprise me if this trades with a Mutavault, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to. Mutavault is activated and sacrificed to Devour Flesh. If this can stick, Night Veil Spectre is a good substitute for Underworld Connections.
Yep.
You see that Justin casts a Night Veil of his own.
Now this might be a spot where Zach starts making his move here and tries to clear a path with this Night Veil Spectre.
Well, he has Devour Flashes in his hand. And I think you're right that he would rather... He wants to clear out the Pack Rat and then Devour Flesh. The worry is that if he does that and Justin's hand has another Pack Rat, Justin can play Pack Rat and immediately discard another one, and then Zach's, he's out of answer. Like, he can't answer rats at that point.
Right.
I think that's what he's thinking about. You know, does he want to be cold to a rat in Justin's hand? Is the Spectre's good? Is it that good? And the answer is yes.
He's making his move.
All right. Ratchet Bomb takes care of the Pack Rat. Devour Flesh takes care of the Night Veil Spectre. Zach's going to get to untap. He's going to get a Night Veil hit in. Swings for 2. Justin is down to 19, and now the card advantage will start. Temple of Silence is the first free card off Night Veil. Damage could have been a lot worse for Justin. We do see a drawn Thoughtseize, however, from Zach, or a Duress. He sees Justin's hand. It is land Gray Merchant.
So now the top decking begins. Zach obviously with a pretty big edge right now as he gets 2 top decks a turn, as long as this Night Veil Spectre remains unchecked.
Yeah, drain for 2 from Gray Merchant. Zach will go down to 16, Justin up to 21. Yeah, Zach does get he gets twice the draws that Justin does, but it's still about finding Underworld, right? Or finding
Eventually,
Erebos.
yeah.
And Devour Flesh from Zach will put Justin to 25 and kill off Gray Merchant. Both players' hands empty. I think Justin still has a land. Draw there. Just another hit from Zach. Justin will be down to 19. He gets another free card. It's going to be Pack Rat. And it's not an Underworld Connections, but this one might even be better.
Yeah. In this spot, yeah. And Justin has just drawn 2 lands in a row, and now
2 swamps.
The runaways begin.
Zach discards. We aren't able to see the card he discards, but I don't even know if it matters. Is there any card he would hang on to?
Any card in Magic. He drew any card.
And he's like, I'm trying to think, like, is there, even if he had, like, Necro, he might even be discarding that to Pack Rat. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right, Night Veil's going to hit in again. That's for 2 damage. It finds a swamp. Zach's going to play it. Unfortunately, he can't discard that swamp to Pack Rat. And he's going to go ahead and cast Underworld Connections out of his own hand. That's actually one of the few cards he would cast because it finds him another card immediately to discard to Pack Rat. And Night Vale back from Justin. Now, it's a pretty heads-up play right from Zach there. He didn't attack with his rats last turn.
Yeah, he's not willing to run into, there's a Mutavault, there's a possibility for removal spells. Might as well just wait one turn.
Yeah, and the cost of waiting one turn is so low, and now his rats are just so safe. It has 3 pack rats in play. Potential to make 2 more. This could be a lethal attack almost as soon as it is now. So 3 rats on Night Vale swing. Justin's going to go ahead and throw the Night Vale in front of, I believe, the other Night Vale. Now Zach's really going to push some damage. Underworld Connections puts him to 16. He has 6 mana up, 2 cards in hand. Looks like 2 more pack rats right on the way.
Yeah, just discarding an Erebus, which would be really powerful here, but
sure,
whatever.
Not as powerful
Not as good as a rat.
All right, and 2 more. That puts Justin down to 4. And it looks like that'll be it. We'll see. He's going to try to draw another card. Maybe Zach has another Ratchet Bomb in his deck. It is not his Desecration Demon that he hits off the Night Vale Spectre. And that will be it. So 2-0. Zach closes out the finals, winning the mirror in 20 minutes. And Zach Jesse is our standard open champion here in Baltimore.
Yeah, and both players,